Good morning, everybody. It's Teepa and Matthew. And this morning we got a question in. And it was interesting for me because yesterday I did our monthly Let's Talk, which is where I and a couple of folks from PAC get together with people who are living with various forms of dementia. And our topic yesterday that we brought up was, how has your sensation sort of shifted and changed, if at all, since you started developing dementia? And so everybody had some interesting sort of comments and thoughts and what they experience and how they experience it. And we talked about the sense of, like, of course, people know about sight. And well, I mean, we've talked before about vision changes and auditory processing changes. So we were really focused on the idea of sensation, pressure, texture, temperature, touch, being touched, touching, different parts of your body being touched, different kinds of touch. And then we talked about smells, different smells and tastes. I mean, so that's where in our balance, sort of the vestibular sort of changes that might be happening. So we were talking about all that. And it's interesting because the question that came in, Matthew, I'm going to let you sort of share the question that came in, if you would. And it's like, oh, well, we just talked about that somewhat yesterday. So let's talk about it. And I'm gonna put your hands up top. Everybody go ahead and get your hands up here. And again, curl your fingers over it, because if you didn't have a skull, two halves of your brain. And this is your somatosensory. Somatosensory. So sensation and movement. Somatosensory, the wiring. This is where your representation of your body is on your brain for both sensation in and movement out. And you're wired across the middle in all kinds of ways, so that's how your brain knows what's happening out on your body. That's how your body gets messages in, and that's how your brain sends messages out about what to do about it. However, because most of us have been around for a long time, put your hand back here and low, your third brain also has some activity here, and that is called your cerebellum. And that's where you do things automatically without thinking. Like most of us at this age, I don't think about taking a drink of coffee. I mean, I just don't, any more than I think about what's the next sound going to come out of my mouth to make a word, until it's an odd word and I have to think about it, which is what's going to happen in a second as Matthew reads the question. I'll guarantee it. I'll guarantee it. He's going to struggle over a couple words.
I keep looking over it and I'm sounding it out in my head. Yeah.
I had to actually go online and hear it again a couple times and go, yeah. Because when I used to work in stroke and head injury, yeah, I knew those words because I was using them. But, in dementia, this is less common symptom. Now, notice this cup has been sitting here over here in my hand, upright against gravity, without me thinking about it all. I wasn't really thinking about it. I was doing it because I was doing some other things. And this still was absolutely versus.
Yeah.
Or losing. I mean, I don't even know it. Oh, what's that doing there? This idea that when I'm focused on doing something over here actively, this automatic, without thinking about it kind of thing, that's my cerebellum's job. But when I have brain changes, what might happen is my cerebellum goes, okay, I'll do it. And then the primitive brain goes, wait, what's going on over here? I don't recognize it. And so they see it as a threat, because all of a sudden really close to you is something you weren't anticipating. Because I actually didn't remember that I had done that, because I didn't do it thinking. I did it how?
Yeah, it's just automatic. Is something that you did without even having to think of the steps.
Right. So I started this automatic thing, and then I got distracted by doing something else. And then when I went back, whoa, what is going on here? Because what I have to register is, all my muscles stayed exactly as they needed to hold this thing the whole time.
Yeah.
But if I was doing exercises, I'd be working on how do you hold that? How do you move that? But no, that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So Matthew, so I'm giving you some background, because this seems sort of weird to just walk into the question. And it seems like, whoa, is this a psychiatric thing? And it's like, no, it's not. It's a brain thing.
Yeah.
So, and it's complicated.
It's complicated. Yeah. Just like the names of them. This is complicated.
Yeah, Matthew's getting ready because now
Here
I've
we
revved
go.
him up. His brain goes, oh boy, let's see how
Right.
I butchered this. Yeah, let's see what it is.
Luckily, I have Teepa here to
Because
support.
we've talked about anosognosia. Everybody knows, I mean, if you've been with us, you know about anosognosia. If you don't, we did a recent session on that. You can reference that. Anosognosia, the inability to be aware of your abilities right now with accuracy because you're remembering how you used to be, not necessarily, and you're having a hard time taking in data that allows you to realize, oh, wow, my skills are changing. You're just not able to do it because of damage in the prefrontal cortex. And we've talked about agnosia.
Agnosia.
Yeah, and we've talked about the idea of word production, the inability to find words. We've also have the occipital area where you have vision, where you have agnosia. So there's a visual agnosia. You don't recognize objects. You don't. I mean, so those are all things where you can't do something.
Yeah. Nausea.
So
the nausea is the key.
Nausea.
Anything with
Yeah.
a nausea on it before that is kind of what it is. And then the
Agnosia. When you have something in and you put an A in front of it. When you put an A in front of a word, it means the opposite of. Yeah. So somatosensory, somato, that's sensation. If I put an asomato, then it means without sensation, not getting sensation. So, Matthew, let's now see if we can see what you can do. Let's see what you got.
Agnosia, yes. So we have autopagnosia and then asthmatoagnosia. That's my best. That's my best. So and Teepa will correct me. She'll give me the support. The question was, okay, so for this person and what these mean is that the person they're caring for, they're supporting, is experiencing moments where, from what they can tell, they're not recognizing their own hand doing things in the space that they're doing it, like eating or doing something.
So this hand is trying to feed me, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute, who's putting that in my so that's one. So eating is one thing, mouth care, I mean, all kinds of things, like, whoa, in the bed, whose arm is this? Like there's somebody in the bed with me and their arm is right there.
Yeah.
Because I'm not taking in the data.
Right. And that being the main question from our viewer is they're noticing the person they're supporting is experiencing this and was wondering, have we ever covered this? Have we ever talked about it? And so we're like, okay, yeah, let's talk about this because for real, it could happen. And like Teepa said yesterday, it just came up in the conversation of what they were talking about.
It really was. Yeah. I mean, there's another variation of it, and it was mentioned here. Let me, autopagnosia. Autopagnosia is a little different. So if I say, Matthew, where's your elbow? Yeah, they can't do that. No. Oh. So I don't know my own body part. I mean, if you say, point to where your wrist is. And so I would pick up my functional hand, like one of my hands works well. And that's why it's usually associated with stroke. And you say, where's your left wrist? And they'll go, I don't know. And they might even look over there and they'll go, I don't know where it is. And they can't use their hand effectively because they can't figure out where it is. But they also frequently can't point to it. Like they can't take in the data and do something about it. So it's a rare condition. Classically, it's after you've had strokes. So when strokes wipe out a chunk of brain, and it's in the temporal parietal area, parietal temporal. And so it would be on whichever side they're experiencing it on. The more common side would be in dementia, if there is a common side, would be more to the left. However, for somebody with Lewy body, it might actually involve both sides because when they have an active state of synuclein protein malformation activity in the core of the brain, in the cerebellum, in the cerebral area, what we're going to see is they might experience it on both sides. So the experience someone had yesterday is they had been at the table leaning on their elbows. And they came off of leaning on their elbows and they were like, whose arms are these? Like, whose arms are those? what's going on here? Whoa. And so that moment, guess which brain part kicks up into a threat state?
Amygdala. Yeah,
The amygdala. Oh my God, somebody's arms are out in front of my body. What's going on here? And it was happening for this person's individual as well. They would be eating, sort of just spontaneously eating, and then all of a sudden they pause and they like, whose hand is that? And it was bringing food up, and it was like, whoa, 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 whoa. So it doesn't always affect the motor portion. It can affect just the somato portion. So asomatognosia. So
Somatognosia.
yeah, the inability to sense your own body parts
as it's moving in space. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's the idea of not recognizing a body part in the bed, not being able to move the body part, not knowing that it's yours, touching it and thinking, whose is that? Because I can't touch it. So what do you do when that happens?
Yeah.
Because that's the real question. I mean, it's like bizarre, but it is not unheard of. Okay.
Yeah.
It is one of the rarer ones, but it's not totally uncommon in Lewy body, but it's also not in vascular dementia. It could be, and most of the research that's been done is stroke, post-stroke. So we're going to have data that doesn't actually sort of necessarily really match up 100% because people are able to, heal after the stroke and come back. And with dementia, it may become part of a pattern, or it may actually resolve itself. It's a window of time. But it actually might be referring to the wiring that's like fritzing out and going away. So if somebody experiences it, first comment was, ooh, so those arms right there, may I? And you may say, what am I asking for, Matthew?
You're getting permission before you reach into their intimate space and do anything in there.
Yeah. And what I might do is I might even go, hey, Matthew, and do this to see if the brain can be sort of like, I'm actually doing a reset, a pause reset, and say, can you shake my hand? Hey, and spontaneously without, if it's a right side, just spontaneously doing it. Otherwise, I might go, so may I? And just reach my hand out for them to put their hand in my hand, just to see if spontaneously without thinking, the cerebellum can take back over and just spontaneously put their hand in mine. And then what I might do is I might use more the palm of the hand as my first contact. So I might try hand under hand and give a few pumps to see if I can get some oxytocin cooking. Because whether or not you intend it, when I give you proprioceptive, it could shift the cycle over into what? Oh, what are you doing? Which is fine. I mean, what I'm giving you a little warm up.
Yeah.
And if the person has memory of the whole event, then we can do that. I could try some sort of rubbing massage of the hand to see, let me see what happens if I do this, and have the person either look away or look, because I don't know which might be helpful because it depends on the dementia and the situation. I might actually try with this individual at the start of the meal. I want to try something. So rather than them trying to help themselves eat from the very beginning, what I might say is, let's do a few of these. I want to practice my skill in case we ever need it. So what we're going to do is try a few assists with a bite. So we're really focusing on hand to mouth. We're really looking at that because this is not a done deal. The person was okay, and then they go out. They were okay, they go out. What we're trying to do is have not that loss of ability in that moment.
Yeah.
So if we discover it, we can start to sort of think, okay, what could we try here? What we don't want to do is dramatic things. Like we don't want to stick pins in people. In stroke, you do the pinprick to see if they react, if they notice. That's what we do with people who have sensory impairment. but I don't recommend that for people who have Lewy body for sure, but people who have dementia, because we've got to pause a little bit and think, do I really want to do something that might be conceived as hurtful or harmful and be the person that then is going to try to help?
So Teepa, what I'm gathering so far, the idea of first seeking permission. So
Yep.
in this situation, no matter what, whether you're doing something before or the person's eating and now suddenly they're saying, whoa, wait a minute, whose is this?
Yeah.
Getting permission. Let's try something. Or, ooh, may I see for a moment? And being able to get that permission. Once we're doing that, the first thing you were talking about was the idea of
I skipped a step.
go breathe. Yeah, breathing would be good. Yeah. Taking it
Because
in.
if their amygdala turned on, my amygdala probably turned on too. So we probably should do a pause in here before we do our pipes, the rest of our pipes.
Yeah.
So we want to breathe a little bit, see what happens if you get oxygen to the brain.
Yeah.
Like, it's like our friend came out of that leaning, if it was, because your ulnar nerve runs right back here. I mean, if you've ever hit it, you know where it runs. And when you keep your elbows bent like this, the nerves here could, in fact, get impinged on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know y'all have slept. Like you've slept in a position, then you go to move it. It's like, ooh, ow, I can't feel my arm. And sometimes it's carpal tunnel. You won't be able to feel your fingers.
Yes.
So many people have experienced this momentarily. And for dementia, it could be sort of situational momentarily, but it can also be part of this. So we want to pause, take some breaths, because I skipped that entirely.
Take a deep breath. And
yeah.
I like how that visual and really emphasizing, because if I do that, and I'm even asking whoever I'm supporting in the moment to do the same, it really helps to make that connection for both of us to be taking that deep breath.
Now notice, Matthew, watch me breathe. Is that what I want? Is that what I'm looking for?
Oh, no.
Because this also can impinge on the nerves that go to and so can your head movement.
Yeah.
If you bring your neck up like this, because what we're talking about are the spinal nerves that come out here.
Yeah.
So it could be a physiological, this is part of your central nervous system, the nerves that are in your spine, but when they come out, they're called peripheral. Mm-hmm. So it could simply be that you're starting to have some arthritic changes here or some bony spurs back here. And so if we get you to
down low, not increasing the impingement.
Yeah. And so the person, I'm having them move their shoulders a little bit, not their hands, not their arms, but I'm closer to the core of the body. Yeah. So we can even just work on this and see if that causes some blood flow, some oxygen flow into the body part. Because this is relatively rare, it's the kind of thing we've got to explore some possibilities. It could be it's not the dementia. It could be it's the oxygen flow.
Yeah.
In the nourishment.
So Teepa, this makes me really think about, on top of the breathing part, if I'm sitting here and I have my elbows up on the table and I'm pausing here, or I'm having a moment where I'm sitting like this, I might try to see if I can support with us just bringing the arms down, letting the arms relax upright, taking that deep breath, and just like you said, just kind of moving the shoulders back and forth and noticing, does that help with that sensation?
Does that help? I mean, and also look at my posture here while I'm trying to feed myself and realize, wow, there's a lot happening there.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I know we've talked about at one point, it's a lifted surface where and I'm not going to remember the name of the product, but it's a lifted surface with a plate that has an inner lip, so that when you sit, you're actually bringing the food to your mouth. And it was designed for somebody with Parkinson's, because this posture puts your head in a bad position to do a good swallow.
Yeah.
But when you have someone working on, so you may go back to, what's the posture like? Is it possible that this is more physiological than it is and it's neurological as well, but it's not the dementia as such.
Yeah.
It's the related issues surrounding the dementia. So it's related, but you could do something different.
So posture, checking posture, trying to see if we can't create more upright, more relaxed at the shoulders, no pressure, taking a deep breath. One other thing too, after getting permission, the idea of getting into hand under hand and doing some sensation there, seeing if us touching and then
Yep.
even doing some pumps in the palm,
Yep.
releasing some
Yep.
oxytocin. If that helps us reconnect and bring that awareness back to, oh, this is my arm. And then the other part too, you brought up maybe even before starting to eat, let's try some together first.
Yeah.
And then see how
Yeah,
that
so
helps.
that we sort of are, and it could be even supporting, because one of the things we'll often do is support at the elbow a little bit. Because the other thing you could have is a lax shoulder, or you could have some impingement at the shoulder rotator cuff.
Or yes, oh yeah, or
So
just
all of a sudden, I'm not, because it's a thing that it could be after several bites. It's like, oh man, I can't. I'm losing sensation. And it's not the pins and needles things that people talk about with peripheral neuropathy, which is a whole nother phenomena. So, I think people are so quick to label something and say, oh, well, there's really no treatment for it. It's just another one of the symptoms you have to adjust to. And it's like, well, pause. Let's sort of explore this a little bit more. Let's get super curious about it. Maybe find if there's a therapist near you that really is into sensory integration and maybe into sensory awareness, and is super supportive and curious. You could really look at some possibilities. And I think that's where I don't want to sell that short. I just want to be super aware of it, I think.
Yeah. Cool. So quick things you can try, not quick, but things you could try at home. Posture, checking the posture, getting more relaxed, getting some deep
alignment in the neck alignment,
and then
shoulder
sensation at the hand, trying some
uh-huh.
if getting permission first, but making sure that we're coming in and
breathing
and breathing at the same time.
and
And then even that idea of trying some together in hand under hand, trying some bites together and seeing if that kind of helps to make some of that connection in that moment.
And then maybe raising the eating serve. If it's primarily happening around eating, is there something we can do that changes the environment that makes it better? And then a final thing I'd say is when we talk about sensory aggression, maybe when that's not happening, do some what we call brushing or some vibration, do some work on that arm, lotion, hand massage.
I'm also kind of wondering about some of those sleeves that you can buy that you see athletes wear, light compression, but I'm almost kind of wondering if you put on something that created some external
tension.
That would also help kind of connect the dots in the moment.
I think it's worth, again, in our world, it's called, we got to figure out something because this level of distress is not okay for someone, for us or them. And so being curious and being interested. And then, if you find something helps, let us know, because we know that we're in an era and in time where there's not that many people interested in the quality of care. They're more still looking for the cure. And it's like, well, yeah, great. I mean, I don't deny that we want a cure, but I just there's a lot of people out here who could really use some benefit, and some support just right now in the care they're trying to do with one another.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the question. Thank you so much. We'll try. Matthew, I pulled to YouTube's talking about the phenomena, and then I actually pulled an article from the Institute of Health, I think it is, which I also, it's, again, mostly related to strokes, but that's as close as I can find right away. And I'm going to do a quick response. Thank you for the question. Anyone else with a question out there, please let us know, because we're really here to support and here to explore and here to try things out, because there aren't absolute answers here, because up till now, people didn't talk about this stuff. And we're like, take it out of the closet. Let's figure it out. That's an unusual symptom, but it's not totally unheard of. But let's get curious. All right, everybody. Till next time, take care of yourselves. Take care with your care. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Teepa. Bye, everybody.